Can you hear the cicadas? You probably can. But it is day 47 of my live 77-day video challenge. 30 more days to go. And who knows, I might even continue to do it a little bit longer. I'm kind of enjoying this. So I want to still continue on with my story of applying for Delta Airlines and also the Berlin Wall falling down. Now, yesterday I spoke about the Berlin Wall falling down in November 9th, 1989. I had just come back from America and I just interviewed with Delta and in October of 1989. And I just want to just show a picture of this is kind of what I looked like then. And a bit of a reflection. However, and then there's me at the wedding with my friend Flor. So when I interviewed for Delta in 1989, October 1989, I did get the job. However, they told me I needed to lose weight. So when I interviewed, I was 140 pounds, which is 63.5 kilos for those people, for those who do kilos instead of pounds, and I needed to weigh 121 pounds. So I needed to lose 19 pounds by training, which so that was they said training would be in January. So I needed to lose 20 pounds before I went to training. So needless to say, I was sort of devastated to lose 19 pounds because I love to eat, being part German. And I've always had a bit of a weight issue my whole life. I mean, not that it wasn't like a big problem, but I was always a chubby child. Here's me. I think I'm in year 4. And year 4 in this photo. And I remember my teacher used to call me Evie the TV. And I didn't like it. And then here's me and my brother. I was just always a chubby child. And unfortunately, I did have relatives who probably were well-meaning, but tended not to say really nice things about me. And actually, there's my father. My father is right here, standing up. But the gentleman here, he was my Uncle Tony. He wasn't very nice to me. I can say that now, can't I? But he wasn't nice. He did say things about me being chubby and fat. And sometimes other family members would chime in with him. And it really didn't do me well. So I think when you're teased when you're younger, you kind of hold on to those feelings of feeling, just that you're not worth anything because you weigh a certain amount. So I got that at a young age. And I know I shared this story with you when I was in year 6. As soon as I walked into the door, someone yelled out, "Oh, look at that fat girl." And there I am right there. I'm not very happy because this was the first day of class for me. And I just wasn't happy the whole day because this person in the photo, he also was teasing me about my weight. So I kind of had that my whole life. So if you can imagine being told at an airline, when you look okay, but that you have to lose 19 more pounds to be able to be in the airline. So I was kind of glad that, because that was October, and then of course Christmas was happening, favorite time of the year. So I really had to be careful what I ate, and I did those shakes. I did really crazy stuff the month and a half before, and I was still working too at the bank. I had to watch it. I definitely had to watch it. I couldn't eat any cake and had those shakes all the time. And so by the time I left, I just want to show you a photo of me. This is a photo of me. And look how skinny I look right there. So this is me just before I left, and I'm standing next to a lady I worked with at the bank. And then there is that Delta flight attendant brochure, and had a bit of a party. But this photo really shows how skinny I ended up. I had to be that skinny to apply to get on with Delta. So now Delta Airlines, like other airlines at that time, remember this was the late 80s, they just had these. It was all based on height and weight. they had me down for 5'5.5", and I really wished it was 5'6", because at 5'6" I could weigh 125. But because they got me at 5'5.5", so 5 feet 5.5 inches, I had to weigh, by training, 121 pounds. I'm going to talk about training, my Delta training, tomorrow. What happened during the Delta training? It was between 4 and 5 weeks. I can't exactly remember. Anyways, I'll probably do a little bit more research and try to figure that out correctly. But it was definitely 4 weeks, maybe up to 5 weeks, but I can't remember. But I did have to weigh 121 pounds, which is 54.6 kilos, by the time I got to training in Atlanta in January. Now, it wasn't until the 1990s, later 1990s and early 2000s, where airlines, they began to move away from this from the appearance-based standards of height and weight and these tables. I mean, the tables were totally ridiculous because they didn't take into account, the bone structure, and when I show you the photos tomorrow of when I went through training, I looked sickly. I really looked quite sickly, and I felt sickly because I couldn't eat much, And I'll share with you some of the stories I went through training. But Delta and all the other airlines, they did change all of their policies, and they shifted entirely from weight restrictions to policies overall emphasizing fitness and the ability to meet job-related physical demands. So they changed it from the weight, because you probably know some people look heavier. They weigh more than they actually look, and I felt at that time I did as well. But I think having the earlier weight issues that I had as a child has kind of emphasized it more. Like, oh my God, I've got to be skinny. I got to lose all this weight, and and health wasn't at the time important. We just had to weigh that amount, in the late 80s and early 90s. So I just wanted to talk about that, the weight loss that I had to go through. So even though I looked okay. I was 140 when I went to the interview. They told me I did have to indeed lose 19 pounds, like 20 pounds, which I don't know how many kilos that is, but it's a lot, And I was quite, it was almost 10 kilos, so 8-point-something kilos I had to lose. And at that stage, this is what I looked like. That's how I looked at 140 pounds. I'm the one in the brown, not the purple. The one in the purple, she's quite slim. but so that was another thing. It's like, oh gosh, this weight thing always comes back to haunt me. Now I'd kill to be that weight. 140, oh my goodness. But that was those were the rules back then. So I thought I would share that. So that was the late 80s when I applied for Delta, the weight that I had to get to, and I starved. I really did. I did the shakes 3 times a day, and that's all I did, and that's how I did lose the weight over Christmas. But I'm going to talk more about Delta training tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this segment. This is Evelyn. This is day 47 of my live 77-day video challenge. This is Heart and Soul with Evelyn. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate any comments or even any likes if you'd like to like the video. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.